Hello everyone, welcome to Hybrid Budgets week 2. So bear in mind I did like a whole video and like, oh, I've got these new binders and stuff last week, apologies. What am I trying to say? Yeah, so I did last weekend. You know what, I was procrastinating, so I had a lot of coursework to do, and obviously rather than doing the coursework that I need to do under a deadline, I thought, oh, I'll make new budget binders because it makes me happy. So anyway, I've actually revamped my whole folder, so I will go through that. I say the whole thing, I've just added quite a few different envelopes to it. So thank you for those who watched the week 1 cash stuffing. Apologies, this one is slightly delayed, but partly because I was like, oh, I want to get some of these like trackers and envelopes finished. I'm also lacking a printer at the minute, so I've had to do it like, I say by hand, like the Cricut, but like with the pen. So anyway, I'll go through it. But yeah, thank you to all the comments, and thank you, Catherine. I took your advice on board, so I will explain that now. Anyway, let's get the monies out. So we're on week 2. Yeah, I'm actually filming this on Wednesday. Reality is I probably won't get it out until Saturday or something, because it just takes me forever. I don't know why. I think it's because of the transfer from like the video to my Google Drive. Or like my work drive, because my work won't let me use Google and blah 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 blah. Anyway, so what do we have this week? We have 50, 100, 150, 170, 190, 210, 220, 230, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. So 230, 245. Is that right? 100, yeah. Honestly, I'm so bad at counting, so this could be 245, it could be not. Anyway, this is the money we're cash stuffing today. So yeah, anyone new, I use placeholders, so all the every envelope I have here is a separate bank pot I have in my Monzo account. So these like cash placeholders or fake cash basically act as a placeholder, and any money I'm like stuffing into these I essentially put into my digital account. Fab, so let's get going. So I have adjusted this. So this used to be home improvement, this is now home. So these are things like around the house, the nice stuff, so like buying candles or cushions or blankets or a nice like bath something or another, just something for the home. So it's a lot less urgent, but it's basically any like day-to-day spends, like if I went into body care or anything and I was like, okay, that's quite nice, or in Primark and I was like, oh, that's cute, let's add it into home. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to have a proper sinking fund for home maintenance. So as a result, with doing like split spot or a game like that, I don't know how much I'm going to get each month. So with home maintenance, I've got a standard tracker, so I know how much I'm putting in every month to make sure I'm saving it. So home, we play split spot. So this week it's going to get to £10. So I always allocate 2 5s and roll the dice. I say that and then I've not done that. So this will be the last week of this one, and then I will clear it, which works quite nicely, because then some of this money is going to go into my home maintenance. So split spot, so let's roll the dice. 3, so roll 3 or 4, spot £10 to this challenge. That's a full £10 going in. So now in home improvement we have 25, 35, 45 and a £25 gift card, which is great. So a pen. I need to re-rub this off. So we were at 35, we put in 10, we're now at 45 and the £25 gift card. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is moving some of this money to my home maintenance to try and build that up. Basically, we've got some... It basically came about when we were buying the bed and I didn't really have enough in for the bed, which I know is technically home, but in terms of like, it's quite a big purchase, and I was like, oh, I've not really been focusing on what I'm been putting in here, so that's where it's coming from. So home maintenance we're not doing this week, but like I say, I've got a standardised tracker now, so I imagine each of these is going to be like £10, and I can add to it every week. Holiday, we do save the year. So we're working on January. So this week it is going to get £30. So we said, sorry, different pen. These are 20, and then these are 5. So we're going to do 30. So in holiday we have 220, 240, 250, £260. That did go down because I transferred the cash over. In fact, I'll explain it later. But that has gone down, and so now it's pretty much back up to where it was. Birthday. So this is the suggestion that Catherine had, and I do really like it. So birthdays for me is I have a virtual card on my Monzo. So when I'm on Amazon or anything, I have a specific card that I can buy birthday gifts, because I won't lie, usually I buy it from Amazon or Tesco if it's like a bottle of gin or something, and obviously cards, etc. So it's useful to have that virtual card ready to go. However, what I was finding is I was putting like a certain amount in per month, but when it's just in the account sitting there for not a specific person's purpose, like, okay, this is like my sister's birthday, for instance, I would end up using it or transferring it to other funds. But then when it comes to the months like August, where I have about like 5 family members' birthdays, I was then short. So what I've done is set up 2 separate pots now. So I've got one which is my virtual card, which I use for my day-to-day spends, for any birthdays, gifts for people if they come up, or anything like that, like weddings, etc. And then what I've got now is a sinking funds pot, which has oh my god, put my teeth in, which I can accrue interest, which is really good. And when I'm transferring it over, I will put a specific note of who that birthday is for. So for instance, so we're working on currently my sister. So let me pull hers out, because she's coming up first. So for her, I'm trying to save up £50, and this week she is getting 30. So I've transferred this money into my pot, and I've specifically said this is for her. So when it comes to her birthday, I can just basically withdraw from that. And I think that will work better, and it will mean that I know I've fully allocated for each person. So thank you for that suggestion. I don't really know, I didn't think of it earlier, but it's one of those, like, when Catherine said it, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. So each of these balloons is worth £10. So my sister's getting 30 this week. Work on her, because her birthday's in February, so she'll be the first one up. And then I've got separate ones for all my other family members in here, and they should be in the order that they're coming up. So it just means I can keep on track and make sure I'm covered for them. Like, I might not necessarily even spend that full amount, but at least then it's covered, and I can then roll over to the next one. So debt is the fun one this week. It's week 2, so all my direct debits come out for my debt as well. So it's weird to be excited about debt, isn't it? But I get excited. So let me get all the trackers out. So we have the Tesco Blue, Virgin Pink and Virgin Blue. So anything that's a direct debit I mark off in black. So Tesco Bank got £30 direct debit this week. Virgin Pink got to £70, I say this month. And my Virgin Blue got £50 in black. So that's really good, they're going down. So these two aren't my priority. They are getting, I say the minimum payment, it's just over the minimum payment, but they get that every month. So I don't really look at these. These are 0% balance transfers. So when I say it's coming off the debt, it's coming off the debt because it's not accruing any interest against that. So I don't stuff that at all. That literally just goes on in the background. And then for any extra overpayments, this is what I stuff in placeholders, so I know how much to pay off in the card. So this week my debt is going to get £100. So we've now, for this month, so far got £200, so there's another 100 in there. And so we're going to cross off £100. Brill. So it's really getting down, which I'm chuffed about. So I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the previous video, but I'm putting quite a bit of debt, quite a bit of money to debt this month, because the next months we're going to be focusing a lot on the wedding. So I just want to put what I can towards that this month. So yeah, £200 overpay for this month, so properly chuffed. Emergency fund, I'm not putting anything towards it this week, so I'm not prioritising emergency fund this year, but I have said I do want to get it up to £2,000. So what I'm going to do is, if I've got any money left over from eating out, that will, I've got a challenge I'm going to do for emergency fund, and then each month I'm going to allocate £20, and again it's a challenge I'm going to do, but I'll explain that in more detail when I come to it. So I'm just going to skip that one. Health. So this is, again, a new sinking fund. So end of last year I said, oh, I used to have a pot called Health, Hair, Beauty and Clothes. So again, it had a virtual card linked to it. But I was finding, again, similar situation to birthdays, that when there was like a lot of money in the card account, I'd then be tempted to spend it because it was there. Which is fine for things that I genuinely needed. And to be fair, a lot of the stuff I was buying was stuff I genuinely needed, but it just meant like it would catch me off guard a little bit if I had, for instance, a dentist appointment or a prescription I had to pay for, or I broke my glasses and I was like, right, I need to make sure I just have a pot saved in health. So what I'm doing is I'm saving up £200, so that will cover all those like anomalous sort of expenses. So I'm going to start colouring this in, but in pink. So health this week is going to get £20. So each of these is going to be £10. So the Cricut printed this for me, but it smudged as I was putting it through the laminator because it was ever so slightly like glossy card that I had. So yeah, anyway, each of these is £10, so got £20 going in health, which is good. So yeah, it just, by splitting it up, I think it just means that at least they're not all those like emergency type, I say emergencies, but you know what I mean, as in when things go wrong, it's handy to have that little pot, whereas I think what I was doing before, it worked, but I would be tempted to purchase from it, whereas at least if I've got this standardised pot for the long-term sinking, it works better. Fabulous. Right, odds and evens. So we have £10 to allocate to this. So the way odds and evens works, a bit like split, spot, spot, so I roll the dice. So 5, so that's an odd number, and then I'm going to roll my 4-sided dice, she says if she can get it up, which is 1. So I'm going to put £5 into extra over credit card debt. Which is this one. She says if she can open it. So £5 will go in there, and that's odds and evens done. Now the remaining 5 will go into future, which we're on now. So future is going to get £50 this week, and that additional £5 as well. So let's mark that off on the tracker. So 1, So now in future we have 50, 100, 120, 140, 150, 160, 165, 170, 175 in future. So we're getting up to that next 200. I think the next 200 is actually going to be the next 1,000, which is really exciting. And then we have in the bank again 1,000, 200, 400, 600, 800, so £1,800. So yeah, doing really well on that as well. And that is it for all my envelopes. The last one is Christmas, so I did have money spare. I haven't got that challenge printer because, like I said, I've got no access to a printer, so I'm just going to stuff it for this month. So Christmas, rather than doing the weekly, is going to get 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, £90 this month to start building that up for next year. Ooh. So yeah, as soon as I get that tracker in, I can start to do the weekly stuffing of it. But for now, let's put the £90 in. And then we still have the £5 carryover from the previous week. So again, I'm just going to put that into week 3. Well, thanks again for watching this cash stuffing. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked some of the new challenges. I've certainly enjoyed making them and procrastinating whilst doing so. But yeah, no, I definitely need to get back on my coursework now. It's getting thick, it's getting watchy. So yeah, at the end of the year, I don't know how packed it's going to be, because I imagine when I put the placeholders in, it's just going to start getting a little bit bigger, but it's fine. This has got quite a bit of give in it, so fingers crossed it will be fine. But Brill, thanks again for watching. I hope you all have a fabulous week. And yeah, drop a note below if you've got any new videos up or I'm not following you. And obviously I'll look to subscribe and follow along. Have a fab week. Bye.